and welcome to the Craft and Calling podcast. I am your host, Christine Marie. Y'all, we are talking about a conversation that is so needed and necessary for trades owners, owners and operators. It's really around the concept of how are you allocating your time? Where are you spending your time? Are you spending it in the right places? Because it is so easy to be reactive, and where we will start our year having a list of goals, having an ideal for not just goals of where we want to achieve and get to at the end of the year, but also how we want to orient our schedule and structure our days. And within a matter of weeks or months, it's just totally gone to the wind. And so I'm thrilled to be joined here by Angelique Robb, the founder and CEO of SYNKD. And this platform is so revolutionary in specifically the landscaping industry across architecture, construction, and kind of the whole horticultural landscape as it pertains to innovation and what is going on as it pertains to the education side, but also the business side. You know, not just teaching people, hey, here's the evolving landscape of what's changing in this particular industry, but also how do we become better business owners and operators? And so, Angelique, thank you for joining me.
Oh, thanks, Christine. It's great to be back. Thanks for having me. And yeah, just, this time of year, this is still spring rush. Some people call it the 100 days of hell, in the landscape industry, because everybody, the plants have come out of dormancy, you want to clean everything from the winter and start using outdoor spaces. And 100 days of hell is not a nice way to look at it. But, as owner operators and small businesses, it's so hard to get to pull yourself out of the day to day, and to really improve your business, you have to be able to do that. You have to take a step back. But it's so hard to do when your phone's ringing off the hook, when you have, hundreds of emails coming through, you have, cost estimates to do, you have people to hire, so many decisions and actions to take, specifically, in the springtime for our industry. It's very hectic. And I think it probably is like that in every trade, has their busy times, and we try to do too much as well.
Well, and this is why I wanted to really dedicate this time to this conversation, because to what you are offering, you also have your own landscaping business. And so you're coming at it from the aspect of kind of two perspectives. You're looking at it from, hey, I know what it's like to own and operate a business. And I also know the importance of people need this kind of education. They need community and they need relationships. And so you have both angles, which I really respect, Angelique, because what I think what that does is that adds further depth and grounding to the advice that you can give, because it's not just the owner operator perspective. It is also this other angle that you're able to bring. And so, from me coming in from my family legacy, our painting business started in 1922. I've got that perspective, which is so cool. But I've also got the perspective of being in multiple trades businesses, running their marketing and brand strategy and real growth strategy. And so it's like, okay, these two different perspectives. And so I love the background that you're bringing and the depth that you're bringing for this conversation. So many times people will say, you don't understand. You don't know what it's like to run and operate a business. I don't have time to educate myself. I don't have time to even further my own professional development. That was actually the thing I was most nervous about when starting my business, is would I ever become the smartest person in the room? I was so afraid of that. And actually, Angelique, I think a lot of people are the smartest person in their room, which is not a good thing.
Yeah. And then who do you learn from? How do you improve?
Yes.
Well, and so I do no longer run that business, because that was in the UK, just to clarify for everyone.
Yes.
But I didn't make time for those things until it was, probably 15 years on owning the business. I didn't make time for things, for events, for networking. But once I realized it, I started a networking group of all the businesses in the area.
Wow.
And and we all started benefiting from it. And I started going to national events. And, you know, it's one of those things that you go, okay, when I'm less busy, okay, when I have more time, when when this is under control. But actually, you never are able to focus on improvements in the business until you take yourself out.
Yeah.
And so you're never going to have that time. You're never going to show up to work one day and go, oh, nobody needs me today. What conference should I go to? Who can I learn from now? It has to be something that you make a conscious effort to do. Otherwise you'll never do it, and you and surround yourself with people who have figured out something that will help you or will help other people. And, really, when I say the landscape industry, a lot of people get it mixed up. They think it's only about plants or it's only about lawn care. But there's so much more to it. And to get a holistic solution that is good for the environment, good for the client, good for the project, lasts a long time without rework. You really need to know a lot about the design intent, the construction techniques, the plant material used, the soil that was used, how to maintain it, how best to maintain it. Like it's and you don't have to do all that in your company to benefit from the education that we're providing at Synced, but really it's learning about the parts that you don't know about. You're an expert maybe in one part. Open your mind to listening to how other people are doing things in the same sector that you're in the same discipline, or in adjacent disciplines that can
Mhm.
affect you. And then you start to, it's almost like with blinders on, you start to look side to side and realize how much more you bring to the table for your clients, but also for maybe these other businesses that you're sitting next to.
I love
Um,
that perspective, Angelique. The aspect here, I want to talk about a couple of things because too, what you're saying is that it actually is a mindset.
yep.
Do I have the mindset, the belief, because our behaviors are a reflection of our beliefs. So do I have
Yes.
a belief and a value system that really sees the benefit in developing myself and growing as a CEO and growing as a president and is growing in whatever your title is? Do I see the value of expanding that and then being able to add those aspects into the business? Because to your point, we talked about this actually on the first episode where you were on with us, which I thought was just so brilliant. Pay attention to the bookends of when you come and serve a homeowner or whatever whoever your customer is.
Yep.
Who comes before you? Who comes after you? There are copious opportunities once you start, kind of to your point, expanding, taking off those blindfolders and what
Blindfolds,
blind, yeah,
blinkers, or
taking
yeah, blinders.
off the blinders, and all of a sudden you start looking to the right and to the left and be like, oh man, there's an opportunity for an affiliate partnership. There's an opportunity for just a referral program. There's an opportunity for a new service.
A new service.
There's maybe
Yeah.
even an opportunity for a new business in and of itself. Because man,
Mm.
everybody who comes after me is like, that would just be super easy to add that in. Maybe I white label it. Maybe I actually have the purchase a company. Maybe I just start one myself. So removing those blinders allows for greater visibility, but all of that behavioral removal of the blinders ultimately comes down to what's the belief system. So I'd love to know, your story of you were doing this for 5 to 10 years, solely kind of head down, and then you kind of brought your head up. And then what was the catalyst for that? Like, why did you start seeing the value of community and networking?
It's not that I didn't see the value before. It's that I just like what I said, it's like, oh, I'll get to that later. And later never comes. And, you think, oh, once I have all this figured out. But the goalposts change every time. The season is different. You lose a key employee. you you know, something happens. So I think what we have to realize in the trades is there's never a good time to take a break, but you have to do it. And you have to surround yourself with people that know more about topics than you do. And that sometimes that's uncomfortable to put yourself in that position, but you know what you've been through, and that's going to be valuable to somebody else. And so really you have to value other people's, you know, positions, their journey, and want to share yours. And everybody can learn everything from somebody. You know, I mean, you can take so much from other people. And I think I naively thought I would, you know, gain more time. The longer I'd been in that position, I would figure it out, but it was always a new problem, always something else to fix the next year, the next fall, the next summer, you know. And I think I really did myself a disservice. I could have, through networking, through going to events sooner, I could have found solutions sooner. I
Mm,
could have gotten gotten out of my own head. Like, if I just do this faster, if I just learn this faster, if I you know, change this thing, you know, it really sometimes takes a bolder move to change significantly.
mm,
And you won't find that by working faster, grinding harder, you know, working later into the evenings. You'll only find it with a step change. And so
good.
again, mindset of I'm going to take a break, you know. And I guess it's even stronger now that we run events too, because I hear a lot of people that believe in what we're doing going, oh, I'm coming to your next event, and then the next event comes around and they don't manage to come. And you know, and I just go, oh, you know, I wish everybody could prioritize these events, because it makes it richer for everybody involved. And then they would get that break. First off, you get a break from your business and the day to day. That's healthy to do, you
Right.
know. Secondly, you just think about things that you never have time to think about. So it's like your mind is clearer because you don't have the what's the weather today, who's going where, you know, like all the juggling act, you
Yeah.
know. You have to trust somebody to manage that. And it could go wrong. And then there's a lesson there. Let it go wrong as long as nobody's hurt, or you know, I mean, it's, you know, people make mistakes. So leave somebody in charge, give them a list of things to do, decisions, leave them to make decisions, and let them make those, and then reassess when you get back. But that time that you step away, um, that's when sometimes the easiest solutions pop into your head, or you have a conversation with somebody on a plane that has a business in a totally different industry, and then you have an aha moment. You
Right.
know, I mean, it's funny, like just having those kind of conversations. But again, what the vibe that we try to curate at our events is that you can come by yourself. You don't have to have a team of people.
Mm,
You show up and you pick the talks that you want to go to. There's some keynote talks, but it's about showing business owners that
mm,
are doing things innovatively. And
yes.
it may not be for your business,
Right.
but if you listen and you take it in, something from that talk could spark your own idea. It could spark a conversation with somebody sitting next to you that
Mm,
then evolves into something that is like a curated solution for your business.
right.
It's giving yourself that time and
Right.
surrounding yourself with the right people,
Mm,
other business owners, other leaders that are doing the same thing. They're looking for solutions. Everybody has different issues that they're trying to solve, but sometimes, you know, magic happens.
Yeah,
And, you
I
know,
love that, Angelique.
yeah.
I wanna call out three things that just to summarize what you shared, because there's such what you gave us was such a gift in terms of perspective. Again, when we are solely operating in our own cloud, in our own little room, and we've got our head down in our business, we miss out on the feedback of others who are doing something different, perhaps doing that well, whereas we have weakness in that regard. So I want to add, I just want to kind of summarize your perspective here because it was so meaningful to hear. So three reasons why going and kind of lifting our heads up and removing the blinders are so critical, but especially if you're just going into these rooms and having these relationships. One, I think that one of the things that can really get in the way, but there's a pro and a con here, right? So it can actually be the very thing that prevents us from going that is the real benefit on the other side of it. So number one, it's self-worth. Do you actually believe you're worth investing in?
Hmm.
You actually value yourself enough as an owner, operator, father, mother, brother, sister, as an individual to cultivate yourself, because
Yes.
really that is the nucleus of where your leadership expands from. You know, that is you are the core of your business if you're the owner, and if you're an operator, so much of the time you're the core of the business as well. And so do you actually think you're worth it? Because again, that's going to be the benefit, is that you're getting cultivated, you're being a better leader. You also probably will be able to positively impact the financials because you're learning cheaper, better ways to
Yep.
do things. It's also going to have a positive impact on the trickle down effect as it pertains to your family. Maybe you actually will free up your time more and go be with them as a result
Exactly.
of actually learning new ways of doing things. So investing in yourself. And then even what you said, this is like another, I guess you could say, kind of layered to the self-worth thing. Do you actually think you have something to give? Because a lot of times I think that we operate in this very, it's almost like we depreciate our own value in terms of well, actually no, that's not even the right way to say it. It's like it's the antithesis of that. It's that we see that we offer so little and no one would want to hear from us, and what am I going to be able to give? And then to that same point, it also shows up in, but what are they going to give me? That belief that we hold about ourselves shows up in the way that we look at other people. So if we don't think we have much to give, we probably don't think that they have much to give either.
Hmm.
So then to the second point around having the courage to go, you said sometimes it requires a bolder move to make a real change. So listening to this podcast, reading books, so incredibly good, but going out and making that step and almost like proving to yourself, man, I'm committed to real change and real growth. Our nervous system responds, which I know that we're getting heady for a second and rather existential, but it's important because again, our behaviors are a reflection of our belief. And so if we have a belief that we're not worthy, or that we don't have much to give, or that we can't really change, that's going to show up in the way we make behaviors, and make choices. But man, if we're willing to shift that belief,
Yeah.
and the first step to shifting a belief sometimes is actually to change the behavior first. So going into those rooms, the belief follows. And it's like, oh man, I actually can. I can do this. And so having the courage, I'm thinking of Theodore Roosevelt's speech in 1914 where he, talked about the man in the arena. So are we going into the arena for ourselves because we're worthy? We're
Yeah.
worthy of investing into, just like our team is. And it's leading by example. And then the third thing that you said that I just think is so important, the break that it gives also facilitates that space to take a step back. And that's when we can really be creative and see real change in our business, is when we actually are not thinking inside the business, but we're rather thinking about the business from the outside perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to thank you for those 3 points that you made, because those are so important. And I think each one of those serves as kind of like, let's look in the mirror. How do you actually view yourself as a leader?
And yeah, and celebrate what you've done so far, but don't put so much pressure that you're on yourself that you're the only one that can do it to grow your business more. Like it, I think that celebrating what you've built so far and also going, but I could, by putting myself out there, by going to these events, by taking a break, I can speed up that process and
Yeah,
take what I've learned to date
I love that.
and take what all these other people are so willing to share and build on that, is really powerful, and you know saves everybody time and more efficient way of growing your business. So especially when there's I mean, that's what I love about the community that we're building, is that so many are willing to share their stories and share their failures and their successes, and what they've learned, because it helps everybody. And it doesn't matter whether you've been in business for 2 years or 20 years, you've learned a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
right, right. And what an encouraging thing. I think that actually is really, really important. There's a book that I love called The Gap and the Gain, and it talks about looking back from where we are today, to look back and be like, man, look at how far I've come. What
yeah.
an encouraging thing in practice to start to cultivate. Look at how far we've come, and teaching our teams to start doing that too. So, Angelique, I'm so grateful for even what you were sharing earlier about the environment that you create when people come and they're solo. They don't need their teams to go. And this is why it requires courage, because it is. I went to Women in Construction Week, or
Yes.
yeah, National Association of Women in Construction. I just joined. It was such an amazing event in LA 2 weeks ago. And I felt nervous walking in. I've been to so many events all over the country and world, and I still get nervous. It's
Of
uncomfortable.
course you do.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable. And you don't know anybody. And it's like, who am I going to talk to? And what am I going to say? And so I'm grateful. Like, what do you do to kind of facilitate those solo guests?
Well, it's not really any scientific uh, any scientific processes or anything, but so the team at Synced, our goal is to people, kind of filter in for the event. We start with a reception where there's drinks and nibbles and everything, and you go and get your badge, and we look for people that aren't standing next to someone, and we introduce them to somebody else. And like our whole purpose of the reception is to do that. And so a lot of people get to know each other, in this casual environment, having a glass of wine, sitting in a sofa, comfortable spaces, before you're sitting at a table quiet listening to a speaker, because you know that would be rude to talk during that time. So like, if we didn't, and this is something that we've learned after having multiple events, is that we need, it's like an icebreaker the night before. um, have some casual time before you're sitting in the event, and people loosen up a bit, and they do start talking to new people. And then the day of the event, you know we only have enough chairs for everybody to sit, and so it forces people to sit next to people that they don't know. We have a smaller venue than we used to have. It used to be this cavernous, exhibition hall, and we were like, no, this doesn't feel nice. So we have these unique spaces that are really, beautifully decorated. It was at a hotel in New Orleans, beautiful location, historic hotel. In Phoenix, it's an event venue that again is meant for about the size of people that we have to seat 250 people. So it's not much bigger than that. Yes, if everybody's standing, you could put more people in, but it's right sizing the venue, and it's cozier. And then we also have these, after the first session on stage, then we have these round table discussions. So it's smaller groups. So you break up into smaller groups, and we encourage the speaker or whoever's leading the discussion to get people to talk. And again, that is another thing that helps. You're sitting next to somebody, and you have people all around you, and you're all sitting and you're all speaking up, and then you find that the session's over, and you feel like some of the people already. So it really became the format and the venue of our event that we changed. in order to create that more intimate feel.
I love that. I really, really love the prompting of conversation. In fact, Angelique, as you were just talking, I had a thought because I'll be at your event and I'll be speaking, which I'm so excited. I love workshops and really doing the work right here, right now, because one of the things that I've seen a lot of events do is that it's just a lot of head knowledge and not much for application. And so I love that you're creating this space where it's, because it's so relationship driven, there's opportunity for, okay, we're actually going to do some of this work right now. And let's go ahead and build that system, or let's go ahead and build that, AI tool or whatever it is that's going to actually move your business forward. And we can do it right here, right now in the next 30 minutes of this workshop or whatever that.
And we have flip charts, at the round tables.
Yes.
And it's about engaging more than it is speaking. We do have some talks that, because they're for continuing education units, they do have to be a bit more one-sided. But then we have extra time for questions. But that's what the goal is, to learn from the speakers, but learn from each other. And
yes,
I celebrate when I hear that, oh, and this was somebody said, oh yeah, I met Dwayne at your event and now we're working together on a project. And I'm like, that's amazing. People from around the country are now connecting on projects or just catching up as colleagues that don't live in the same city, or maybe they do live in the same city, but they're building relationships, not just exchanging business cards.
Angelique, I love that. I want to even just considering a few examples that I've seen, and I'd love to hear yours for examples you've seen. My dad attended an event 2 years ago where he learned about this bookkeeping system. We are just onboarding them next week. It took about 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah, like your return on the investment of what you're making in these events in both ways. They're seeing a return on their investment by showing up and being there, either sponsoring or speaking or just attending themselves. We're seeing a return because they have recouped many painting businesses on average $78,000 in totality. So we're going to see return on our investment just by going to that event. And it goes both ways. For every single attendee, if we're going with a relationship-oriented mind of what could be, how can I learn? And it's curious, like being curious and being really, really open, because I actually wonder, even if we talked about the 3 things that can be the benefit of going, but also that can also prohibit us. We talked about self-worth, allowing for creativity to be the time when you can really imagine new things in your business, and then having the courage to do so. If we're going in closed-minded and not being willing to analyze, how am I doing business? What are the gaps on either side and the opportunities on either side? If we're fundamentally missing out on curiosity, I actually don't know how much of the rest of those 3 aspects really will matter.
Yeah. Oh, I think you're right. I think it's funny because not this last event, but the one before, we had a panel discussion, all business owners and leaders, on how to stay curious. Because I think you're right. If you're not curious, you can't absorb what you need to and think about it in a way that you need to. And it takes effort to be curious, and not do things the same way over and over again. And not everybody is in that place, and that's fine too. But it's, curiosity will always lead to better solutions. It's just a matter of time. So it is always it. And it doesn't have to be every business owner is the curious one. It could be your right-hand person that's the curious one. It could be your chief technology officer that's the curious one. It could be your, construction manager. But I think, someone in your organization that is a leader needs to have that role to help the company year after year progress.
Right. That's so good. I'm so grateful that you brought that up, because it might not be your gifting or your strength or even a desire. And it may not be for you to go out and develop those relationships. And it may not be for you to go out and be curious. Maybe you really just need to stay put and run the ship. But so
Yeah.
long as you know, this is where, I've got the Knowing Show, where it's all dedicated to knowing who are you and cultivating the intellectual, emotional, physical, and spiritual intelligences of the human being, because we're not just the IQ, it's all these different parts of us, and especially the emotional intelligence. That allows for us to know the strengths of our team and
Yes.
growing through strength of numbers and really positioning people in our lives so that they shine and do so well, and then they fill in the gaps that we just can't fit. We can't do it all, And so I'm
No, you
so
can't.
grateful you said that, because you're so right. There could very well be someone on your team that really wants to go and learn and to educate, especially in this world of AI. What's happening? It's crazy.
Things are moving quickly. Yes.
I know.
Well, and one of the things I'll just, briefly mention this is that
Please.
the second day of our event, we have experts coming from Shopify, Google Cloud, Future Commerce, talking about AI for our industry and what the future looks like and what we can do now to prepare for it. So again, some future thought on how AI can connect some dots that haven't been always that easy to connect in our industry, like supply of certain plants, and just a plant sourcing issue that's always existed in our industry. But again, AI is going behind the scenes to do a lot of work for us. So we're excited to have an AI slant on the second day of our event.
Good. Well, if you want to talk more about that, I have some folks, actually someone who's on here right now as a guest. I'm thinking of them that could be good speakers. So let me know if you want to fill out that track anymore. But otherwise,
Great.
Angelique, I'm so excited. Can you share when this event is happening? I'll be there and speaking.
Yay.
Can you tell us about it for anyone who wants to attend?
So the name is Synked Live, short for synchronized, SYNKD Live in Phoenix, September 29th, 30th, and October 1st. We have speakers coming in from Florida. We also have a local speaker, James Trahome from 180 Degrees Design and Build. We have Christine, a speaker. We have some great specialists in different areas coming together to make this a worthwhile event. So hope to see you there. We have a website that you can, well, there's a wait list right now to sign up for tickets, because we're slowly dripping out some of the speakers' information, building up the agenda, getting that all ready, and then we'll launch the ticket sales later in June. So you can join the wait list. I'll send you the link, Christine, so you can add it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be great. I'll go ahead, y'all. After we jump off here, I'll go ahead and put that in the comments.
Okay.
Obviously, it would be wonderful to meet so many of you in person. Angelique, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you coming on here and sharing. This is potentially the very thing that will get business owners, operators, executives to the next level in their business, but also their lives. Because so much of what we learn about our business and about ourselves in business translates from the boardroom into the bedroom. We're never compartmentalized in terms of who we are. So our growth in one vertical really does impact another. So thank you.
It does. Thanks, Christine. Thanks for having me.
Y'all, thank you so much for joining us today. I will see you next